Bracelet, you will need 22 gauge jewellery making wire and about 26 to 28 jewellery making wire. So that's 2 different thicknesses of wire gauge that you will need, both hard, half hard. You will also need flush cutters, round nose pliers. This is optional, bent nose pliers, chain nose pliers, and I always have flat nose pliers just to have it there. You will need some seed beads. I'm using about 18 seed beads. And also you'll need a lobster clasp, 3 smaller jump rings, and 1 larger jump ring. You'll also need a ruler, and I've got a little bit of paper just for a bit of measuring. You'll also need some jewellery making chain. And with my round nose pliers, I've made a mark on them, just the size that I want the size of the loops to be. I've marked it with tippex. So we're going to start off by making our little cute bow here. Get your flush cutters out and your ruler and your 22 gauge half hard wire. Get that out. We are going to cut 4 inches of wire to make the little bow. So I've got my ruler here. I'm going to measure 4. So I've got 4 inches, and I am going to pick up my flush cutters and I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to put away my wire for now. So as I say, we're going to start off by making the bow. Now that you've cut 4 inches of wire, you're going to pick up, you need to get your ruler and your round nose pliers. So pick up your ruler and measure 1.5 inches. So let's see, that's 1.5 inches there. Put my hand there. And then pick up your round nose pliers, and we're going to use this loop here, this bigger one, just further down here. Clamp it on like that, and we're going to bend it. We're going to bend it like this. That's the first step, is like a P. So now it's like this. Then we're going to slide it back on using the guide of where your tippex is there. And this top tail here, we're going to put it down around, look like this next. And then we want this long bit here, turn it around, and this long bit here, we're going to put the pliers back. I'm going to use this marking, and this long wire here, you're going to take it and pull it all the way down and around like that. Might have to straighten it a little bit. So it should look something like that, and you can do some little adjustments by bringing it down a bit. So that's the bow. So the next thing, we're going to put 4 beads on each leg. So get out your beads, and we're going to thread the legs. I like to alternate. So it would look, something like this. I'm just threading on the legs. So I have 4. So the next thing we're going to do is cut the legs. I like to use leave about ½ an inch, which is like near the width of my little fingernail. And I put my hand there and cut. I'm going to hold that because that might jump, and cut it. Put that away, we don't need that now. See, we got that there. Then I like to take my chain nose pliers and bend it like that. And then pick up, using the tip of my round nose pliers, make a tiny little loop to keep it on. I like to go at the end of the wire and then make a tiny little loop. You see, I got the loop there, then I'm going to close it. Can just move the leg across. Right, I'm going to thread the next. I'm going to thread the next leg. So I've got all the beads on. I'm going to thread those on, and then I'm going to pick up my flush cutters, leaving about ½ an inch. Put my hand there because I don't want it to fly, and cut it off. So again, we're going to just make a little loop. I'm going to bend it across. Take the tip of my round nose pliers and gently make a little loop, trying to make it match the other one, forming a loop. Making a little loop there. So with my thumbnail, I'm holding that bead in, and then I'm going to close it. There, I managed to close it without the bead getting in. So I'm just going to make a bit of adjustments. Just going to open the legs a little bit more. And now we have completed the bow. So the next step, we're going to just make this bar that's here. So we'll need 1½ inches of the 22 gauge wire. We're going to get our flush cutters. We're going to just cut that. So we got that there. We're going to just make 2 little loops at the end using our round nose pliers. And we're going to just use the tip of the pliers because we just want 2 small hoops. So I think I'll just use here. And just bring it in. Doesn't have to be fully closed, but fully closed because we're going to need it open. Go to the other side. Making another hoop. As I say, we don't need to kind of close it fully because we're going to need it open. So there we are there. So we're going to now attach the bow to the bar. So we need the thinner wire. With that thin wire, you cut 2 inches of this thin wire and then you bend it in the center like that, and have your flat nose pliers, your chain nose pliers, and if you're using your bent nose pliers near, just have it near. So I have bent this wire and I am going to put it inside the top loop and between the legs of the bow pendant. Can get a little bit fiddly, so I'm going to bend it. See, I've put it on like that. See, like that. It's been put on, and then I am going to cross them. Cross the legs of the thin wire. You cross the legs of the thin wire. You pull it tight. So it should look like that. The thin wire has been put at the front of the top loop and between the beaded legs, and it has been crossed over. I think I'll cross it twice. Cross over, and then I'll hold one bit and then I'll pull it, use one of my pliers and just pull the wire, that, and then turn it around and pull the other wire. So it should look like that. It is now time to wrap it onto that bar. So I pick up the bar there and we're going to wrap it into the middle of the bar. Just use one and pull it up, and then thread it. I'm going to thread it into the top loop like that and pull it through. Going to pull it through and then cross it again, and then cross it again between the legs. So that wire that we just moved, we're going to move it again. We're going to go at the back, and that small bit that we moved, we're going to move it up again. And we're going to push it through the top loop. And pull it out the other end, like that. This bar is going to move a bit, so you're going to hold it there, like that. And now this other bit, the other bit of the thin wire, you're going to do the same by pulling it down between the legs and then poke it through the top of the loop, the top loop. You can poke it through. You can see it there, and then you're going to pull it. Pull it tight, and then between the legs again. Wrap it between the legs again until it's tight. You're going to have to press that down. Right, so this bit could be a bit rough, where at the back of the bow, it could be a bit rough, so you can just press it, either using your chain nose pliers or your flat nose pliers, just to press it down. The wire can move, but you're going to just press it down like that. So we've got a little bit of tail sticking out there. So we're just going to bring that in. It can get quite fiddly, but what you're doing is just wrapping from the top loop round between the legs of the bow, between the legs of the bow. And then you're going to just squeeze it so there's no pokey ends. This might take a bit of practicing, because what happens is this bit is going to end up moving, so you have to really hold it and squeeze it. But make sure that you cross, when you put the thin wire in to the bow, you cross it first, and then you just wrap from the top hole and until between the legs, and then just press it and squeeze it down until it's secure. This bit can be a bit fiddly, but you can always, if you still find it in move, you can always try dropping a drop of glue, jewellery making glue at the back to keep it secure. Right, so it's nice and stuck now because I've given it a little press. You can always just give it a little press there. And just by tucking it in, and then just press it down, feel in there until there's no pokey end. If there's any pokey end, you can always, if there's any pokey end, you can just tuck it in. So it should look something like that. Just make sure that there's no sharp ends. If there is, just tuck them in. This bit does take a bit of practice. That's the back, and this is the front. We're going to now make 2 of these. So pick up your 22 gauge wire, get your flush cutters and get your ruler. And then cut 4 inches off. Each one is 4 inches. So I now have 4 inches. Then I'm going to get my round nose pliers, and I'm going to, I think I'll use this loop here. And then I'm going to go in at 1.5 inches. Start to turn. Turn right round like that. And bring it down. Right, you've got a P shape like that. Then go and get your flat nose pliers. Hold with your flat nose pliers and start to wrap. We're going to wrap about 4 times. Keep the coils near to each other. 2, 3. And wrap around. Don't wrap over tight because it might break, but just not too tight, but you know. So that's wrapped it about 4. And as you wrap, it might get a bit harder to wrap anyway. It might get a bit harder. So that's about 4. And that's the head is wonky. Obviously, we don't want a wonky head. So we're going to pick up our round nose pliers and just slowly straighten the loop so that the loop is straight, like that. Nice straight loop. Obviously, we don't want that bit poking out. Obviously, we don't want that bit poking out. So I'm just going to bring it down like that. And then I'm going to get my flush cutters. So cut it. I'm going to go close. Put my hand here and I'm going to cut it. Get rid of that bit. And then we need to just close in that bit there. So I'll use my... You can either use your bent nose pliers if you're using, or your chain nose pliers. I think I'll turn it round. And I'm just going to press it to tuck it in so we don't have no pokey bits. Sometimes I might use bent nose pliers and bring it in, and any of the two really. Make sure it's not sharp. So that's the first step. So then put on your beads. I'm putting 4 and I'm alternating. So what I like to do is just measure. It's about the same size there. I'm going to pick up my round nose pliers, go back to where that mark is. I'm just going to measure again. So it'd be the same, almost the same size. Let's just see. Almost like the same size. Put it in slightly more. And then bend it right over like that. Like that. Take it out. Hold it with your flat nose pliers and start to wrap again. Keeping the coils next to each other, and you wrap, but try not to wrap overly tight. Wrap, and then we'll straighten the head again by making it more central, like that. Straighten the head. I think I'll just wrap it one more time to bring it up, like that. And straighten the loops. Right, now we need to cut this off. We don't need that. So I'm going to go close to it. Hold it. Cut it off like that. See, there's going to be that pokey bit again that we don't need. So I'll pick up my chain nose pliers. And I'm going to just move this bead down. And then close it. So you need to have 2 because they're going to go either side. So you're going to pick one up, put it in there, close it with your chain nose pliers. Repeat the procedure on the other side. I like using my bent nose pliers to close it in more. So it should look like that so far. So we're going to attach the chain. So get out your chain and the 2 smaller jump rings. I'm just going to measure the chain around my wrist. Like that. So I cut about 6 inches of the chain. So you could use more and less depending if you want the bracelet to be more up there or more like that. So the next thing you're going to do is pick up one of the smaller jump rings. My jump ring's already open, but the way I open it is across. But if yours is closed, you just kind of open it like that. And we'll just open it across like that. Put my hand there, because I don't know if you can see. Right. Then put it on one bit of the hoop. And then the chain. And then hook it on. The chain like that, and then close it. That should look like that. Then we're going to go to the other side. Pick up another small jump ring. Open it and thread it on. Like that. Put the other side of the chain on it. And then close it. Use it either bent nose pliers, flat nose pliers, or chain nose pliers to close it in. Just bring it together like that. And go to the middle of the chain. Get your flush cutters and cut in the center. The chain was a bit too long, so I cut it. So I'm just going to go to one end. I'm going to pick up the largest of the jump ring. And put it on. Just hook it on. And then close it. Bring it together and close it. Then I'm going to pick up the lobster clasp. I've picked up the lobster clasp and I've threaded the loop inside. Then go to the other side of the bracelet and thread it on. I've threaded it on. And then close it. So we now have another bracelet. So if you've got any comments or questions, please pop them down below. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and click the notification bell so YouTube lets you know that I've done another video. If you're not following me, I'll put my social media link platforms down below. And if you want to check out my Etsy shop, I've got an Etsy shop full of fashion jewellery that I'm always adding, key rings, phone straps, and I'm going to put much more. And I'll link down another bow jewellery making tutorial for you to watch.